It is hour two, the game after work. Mitch Fortner and AJ Shaw with you. No Troy today. He's over at Boozer Family Park, which they are now underway right now. K-State hosting Green Bay. A little soccer. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus to watch that. I'll actually be on the ESPN Plus call on Sunday, 1 o'clock, when the Soccer Cats host the Coyotes of South Dakota.
We're going to need a photo of you in the suit.
Well, I tell you what you can do. Pull up ESPN Plus on
I don't have ESPN Plus.
What?
Nope.
What?
Nope.
How?
Because I don't watch a ton of K-State soccer. I'm sorry.
Well, K-State soccer, K-State volleyball, K-State basketball, K-State
See, if I wanted to go
baseball.
to a game, if I wanted to go to a game, I would just go to the game.
Well, you can also watch it. Also on the road, you can watch the Cats. Oh, AJ. We need to get this guy a subscription. Can't believe it.
How much does it cost?
I don't know. It's like $6-7 a month, I think. I don't know. I got the annual subscription.
Yeah.
So it just rolls over. Save a few coins that way.
Okay.
We got Mitch in Vegas week one, part one coming up here in just a few moments. We'll hear from Conor Riley, offensive coordinator for K-State, who spoke to the media earlier today. We'll get the offensive perspective heading into week one. Let's head to the phone lines. We are pleased to be joined once again for another season looking at K-State football week in and week out on Thursdays at 5:10. You know him. You love him. Former K-State wide receiver, now with Wildcat NIL, attorney Curry Sexton joins us. Curry, how was your summer?
It was a crazy summer. I'm honestly glad that it's over and glad that we're in football season. I haven't had much time to rest or get a lot of work done and ready for some normalcy.
A non-sports question here. I was reading during the break that Capri Sun is getting rid of the pouches and they're moving to plastic bottles. On a scale of 1 to 10, how angry does that make you?
Yeah, that's pretty disappointing. Scale of 1 to 10, I'd say about an 8. I mean, obviously I don't ingest many Capri Suns, but my daughter, who is almost 2.5, just had her first Capri Sun here at a Royals game a couple weeks ago, and so she's just getting into the Capri Sun phase. So that's disappointing that she's not going to get the same experience that we had as kids.
You got to have that experience one time of being a little too zealous with the straw and poking it right through the other side, and all of a sudden you got this leak and you don't know where it's coming from. You got to go through that experience. It's part of enhancing your street smarts a little bit, having the Capri Sun experience. All right, Curry, let's dig into the Cats here a little bit. We got a big season ahead of us. It could be a very special one. I'm going to be very basic on this question. Just tell me, what does your gut tell you about what this team can be in 2024?
I think my gut says that this can be a really good football team. And my heart says that this is going to be, an incredible season, one of the best that we've had at K-State. My gut tells me, hey, there's a good chance of this being a special season, but we've got to account for some of the uncertainty, some of the inexperience that we have on this roster, and expect a lot from these guys while also giving them time to grow. I think we've really built this team up, and others have built this team up this offseason to the point where I think any early season struggles are not going to be received well. And I think people need to realize that, hey, this team has a ton of potential, but we've got an experience on the offensive line at the quarterback position, and in other positions across the roster, and along with a new offensive coordinator and an experience there. I mean, there's a lot of things that have to go right at key spots for this to be the special season that we're all hoping for. So gut says this should be a really fun season, but let's also give this time some team to grow.
Yeah, I mean, on the offense, the offensive side of the ball very well. They got some pieces, but they're young. I mean, you look at maybe the top 3 players on the offensive side, and excluding DJ because he's an upperclassman, but Avery Johnson, Dylan Edwards, Jace Brown, they're all sophomores. Expect a few growing pains. I mean, you used to be a sophomore back in the day. I mean, growing pains are maybe expected at that age. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly a possibility. I also slot kid who didn't have, really those growing pains. And so I think that's certainly a possibility, but there's also a fair, there's a fair expectation that, hey, some of these guys are going to take that next step. I mean, Jace Brown's a guy who made enough impact last year as a true freshman out of nowhere that you expect that he's going to take a leap. Dylan's a different case. Dylan, kid, first year at K-State, first year in this program, first year in this system. He's playing, behind or alongside DJ, and so you wonder what his role is going to be and how that role is going to be carved out. And so there's just a lot of uncertainty across the board. I mean, Trey Spivey's a kid that, he's not played a ton. He's got the talent and the upside that you expect to see him out there this year. Garrett Oakley, a lot of good moments last year, but now he's the number one tight end. He's the number one guy expected to replace a second-round draft pick. A lot. Rifle, but I also think people need to look at some of those key inexperiences across the offense in particular, and make sure that hey, when things, if we don't come out and blow the doors off of UT Martin on Saturday or win comfortably over Tulane next weekend, that's okay. That's okay. This team is going to take some time to get into our groove.
I did a poor job of trying to convince myself that there could be some expected bumps in the road. I just think this team is just going to be full bore, ready to go, 100% off the wall, balls to the wall, extremely good right out of the gate because of all the star power. There's going to be a few bumps in the road, but I think these are mature and just good football players that they'll get over that pretty early. As the wide receivers as a group, is there an area you look back at last year? Is there an area, too, you just expect them to be? They got to be better this season?
I think just across the board, at the receiver position, they have to be better. Last year, and I think we fell short of those as a team, as an offense. I think, we just be in prime for that. Keegan Johnson last year we had unreasonable expectations for him. He dealt with some injury struggles and some other struggles, and wasn't near the player that we expected. And I think that really caused that group to take a little bit of a hit. And then you didn't expect anything from Jace Brown, and you got it from him. Now you're expecting more from him this year. You bring in Adante Cephas, an experienced guy who had 82 catches a couple years ago. You're expecting him to be a sort of a stabilizing force. And then you've got Jaden Jackson, a fifth-year guy, out there as your number 4. You've got Trey Spivey, a young guy with a ton of upside, as your number 5. I think this receiver group could be the best we've had in several years. So I'm expecting a lot of improvement from that group.
With this being the best, possibly the best receiver group we've had in years, does this group this year have a 1,000-yard receiver?
I don't think so. I was on with Cole on 3 Mall the other day, and he asked that question. And I said, look, it's, having a 1,000-yard receiver is really tough. And I don't say that because I did it and because I'm trying to hype myself up. I say it because in 2020 or 2014, we were a throwing football team. That was pretty much all that we did. We had a great throwing quarterback. We had the best receiver in school history, and we threw the football. That team had 2 targets. It was Lockett. It was myself. The next leading receiver had something like 300 yards on the year. This team is different in the fact that they have tons of weapons across the board. You've got, out of the backfield, you've got DJ and Dylan. Both can catch the rock. Both are going to see passes frequently. You've got 2 tight ends, maybe 3 who are going to catch the rock. Garrett Oakley, Will Swanson. Apparently, Braden Lofton has made big strides. And then the receiver room, we've talked about this top 6. I mentioned 5 of them earlier. Throw in Sterling Lockett. So with those, 9, 11, there's 11 guys there, and potentially never know who are going to get some action potentially. And so I think Avery has a ton of weapons at his disposal. And so I just think that the love is going to be spread around a little bit. And I think you're going to see guys like Keegan and Jace, and potentially Garrett Oakley be in that 500, 600, 700-yard range. But I don't think we see anybody yet.
Speaking with Curry Sexton here on the game, former K-State wide receiver, also with Wildcat NIL. Zach Trujillo was the 3rd leading receiver on that team with 389 yards. And then Cody Cook came in fourth place with 251. In fifth place was Deontay Burton with 171.
Yeah, see, so, I mean, it was, and Trujillo, not a name that a lot of people remember. He's one of my best buds. He'd give me some grief if he heard me say that, but, yeah, I mean, that team, again, we were a throwing football team. Tyler Lockett was the driving force, along with Jake, and I happened to benefit from some of that as well. So this team is just a lot different. They're deep, really deep at the skill positions.
Does K-State play in the Big 12 championship game this year?
I think so, yeah. I think so. The other day I predicted one conference loss in the regular season. I'm not going to say to who. I don't know to who. But we're going to lose one conference game, and we're going to play Utah in the conference championship.
That's pretty much the way I have it. We're pretty much on the same page. All right, Curry, let's get caught up on Wildcat NIL. Now, I remember I talked about this at the beginning of the show, that I remember at the end of the regular season this past year for football that Chris Clement at the press conference says we need to invest more in Wildcat NIL. Not too long after that, Gene Taylor was sharing the same message. So since then until now, explain to us how successful Wildcat NIL has been.
Yeah, I think in simple terms, we've gone from being in the back of the pack we've gone from being in the back of the pack I would say being now at the front of the pack. I would say we are as good as anybody in NIL in the Big 12 conference. So I think that's the drastic improvement that our NIL program has seen over the course of the last 9 months. We've had collective buy-in from everybody from Gene Taylor down. We've had massive buy-in from our fan base, and with that, we've had an ability to, we retained a really solid roster, minus a few pieces, and then we went out and got some key pieces, some guys like Dylan Edwards, and I think that our NIL program is only improving, and so I feel really good about where we're at. It's taken a lot of people to buy in to get us where we are now, and we're in a good spot at K-State. I think we're going to be okay as we move into this new phase of college athletics, and that's because of the leadership of Gene Taylor and John Curry before him and so many others, where our facilities are in prime condition. We don't have a lot of big upgrade needs, and we can really attack this NIL thing.
You got any Wildcat NIL events coming up that you want to plug?
Yeah, absolutely. So Saturday we're hosting our first Wildcat NIL member tailgate. Anybody who is a member of Wildcat NIL can come for free and bring 2 guests with them, and we'll be having that right on the lawn, right on the east side of the Veneer football complex parking lot. We'll have burgers and broths and other food and beverages of all kinds, and TVs and yard games and everything else. Should be a really good time. So if you're a member, come on out and join us. If you're not, go to catsnil.com and get signed up, and then we'll have that tailgate. We'll have that member tailgate for all 6 home games this year, and should be really, really fun. A lot of good stuff going on at the tailgate. And then here on September 12th. The Thursday before the Arizona game, we've got our second annual For the Cats Classic, the golf tournament out at Colbert Hills that will support the men's basketball team in their NIL program. And so if you're interested in playing in that, you can visit our website, again, catsnil.com. There's information there under the events tab, and that is a really, really fun event. It's a full-day deal where you've got, breakfast and Bloody Marys in the morning, golf all day, followed by a happy hour, heavy hors d'oeuvres, and a live auction full of a lot of great auction items. And so just roll that Thursday fun right into that Friday game, non-conference game against Arizona.
All right, before I let you go, I got your boy Zach Niemanchek. He's joining the show this year. He's joining PowerCat Game Day. I'm sure he may be listening right now. So what am I getting myself into with bringing Zach into the fold, into the K-State media?
Yeah, I told him this morning, I texted him and asked him how he's feeling. He said he's feeling a little nervous. And I said, man, just give him Nemo. Don't give him Zachary.
just make sure that he's got one of the biggest personalities that I've ever been around. In addition to being a super smart guy, so just make sure that in addition to giving you good analysis, you get some of that sort of like Pat McAfee type personality that Nemo has within him. So that's the biggest piece of advice I can give you guys, is just pull that personality out of him, and he's going to be a fun addition to your show.
Yeah, when you guys came on to talk No Stone Unturned, I felt like Zach would be a great addition, just talking to him about the Cats and about No Stone Unturned. He's got a great personality. He'd be a great fit for the show. Curry, I know you're busy, so I'll let you go. Thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to your reaction to the UT Martin game on Saturday. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Go Cats.
Curry Sexton, former K-State football player, former Abilene Cowboy, now with Wildcat NIL, lawyer. He's a good dude. Here we go. So, if you want to take a guess how many receiving yards Curry Sexton had in 2014?
I'm going to say he had 1,053 receiving yards.
You're close, 1,059. So, Price is Right rules. You just won double showcase.
Okay.
So that's a pretty good guess.
Well, if Zach Nemechek's out there listening, at least I came close on that one, unlike the Cubs question.
Curry only had 5 touchdowns. I would have guessed a few more than 5.
Yeah.
Ty Lockett, of course, the ball hog he used to be. No, I'm joking. But 1,515 yards, 11 touchdowns back in 2014. He also ran the ball 3 times for 17 yards, and it looks like Curry did not have an official rush in 14.
How many passing yards did Waters throw for?
The school record, 3,000. I think it's the school record, 3,501.
Gotcha.
22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
That was a fun team. It's a shame they couldn't get past TCU or Baylor.
Well, yeah, that was the deal about the Big 12 in 2014.
Mm-hmm. That was the first year of CFP.
It was. You had 2 really good teams in the conference that nobody could get past them. TCU and Baylor, who were both left out of the college football playoff for the national champion that year in Ohio State.
TCU got screwed over that year. They 100% got screwed over that year.
I agree. I thought they should have been in.
They should have been in.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, it is Mitch in Vegas, Week 1, Part 1. We'll update the standings and 6 games to predict. They're all games tonight. And we'll have a Part 2 tomorrow. Mitch in Vegas, after these words.
Tweet the game, KMAN, or call 537-1350 and get in touch with the show. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
How lucky can one guy be? I kissed her and she kissed me. Like the fella once said, ain't that a kick in the head? The room was completely black. I hugged her and she hugged back. Like the sailor said, quote, ain't that a hole in the boat? My head keeps spinning. I go to sleep and keep grinning.
Just trying to give you enough time to Shazam it.
I didn't Shazam it. I just wanted to let it run a little bit.
I wasn't talking to you.
Oh.
Talking to the folks. Hey, quick update from Boozer Family Park. 1-0 Cats. K-State leads Green Bay. I have to go back to the summer here real quick. Because I did not see who scored the goal. Ryan Reynolds, who scored 2 goals the other day against Portland State, has put the Cats up 1-0. Hopefully, K-State may have their next superstar. We'll see. Ryan Reynolds, transfer from, I believe, Oregon, is in her first year with the Cats. Joe Sees with the assist.
You are correct. She is an Oregon transfer.
25 minutes in. And K-State leads Green Bay 1-0.
How many times do you think people made jokes about her having the same name as the actor?
Oh, I'm sure all the time.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure all the time. I mean, I don't know if I could help it.
I wouldn't be
if
able to help it
we
either.
chatted for the first time. Oh, so Ryan Reynolds, the actor.
So, you think they ever made Deadpool jokes to her?
That might be her nickname now. If she's going to continue to score all these goals.
Hopefully she's not as vulgar as he. Well, that made the movie funnier, was the vulgarity, because it was a Disney movie.
I've only seen the first one.
The first movie was hilarious.
Is that Disney's first R?
I believe. I don't even know if it was an R. Was it?
The first one? I had to be.
Let's see here. Oh boy, here we go.
Did Disney do the first? Have they done all of them?
Yeah, it was rated R.
How about that? I haven't seen the others. And there's a new one that just came out, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I believe the green. I can't remember who was in it. I didn't look.
Well, we'll look at that a little bit later on because I want to start making some picks. It is Mitch in Vegas Week 1, Part 1. Let's break out those apps, or let's step into the sports book and start making some picks here because we have 6 predictions to make. First of all, already one game underway. Rutgers leads Howard 7-0. 2:23 to go in the first quarter in Piscataway, New Jersey. But the first game on our docket will be sending us to Fayetteville, Arkansas, where K-State baseball not too long ago won a regional matchup in an upset win that fast-tracked the Cats to a super regional, but the Razorbacks will be hosting Arkansas Pine Bluff. This is the biggest line I could find. I picked it because it had the largest line, 48.5 points, and it's going to be kicking off in an hour on ESPNU. Troy, who's not here, says he's taking Pine Bluff. The people who are voting on my Twitter account, @MitchTheFort, go vote. So I have 46 minutes to do so, taking Arkansas. Would you like to pick?
Sure, I didn't know you wanted me to go first.
Yeah. I always go last in Mitch in Vegas.
Oh, all right.
You know,
Well, this is my first.
my name's on the marquee.
This is my first Mitch in Vegas live. I was not here
that's
last
true.
week,
Oh,
so I was a
okay.
little confused there. My apologies.
Fair enough.
I am going to go with the Hogs, with the Razorbacks. I don't know why I said Hogs there.
45 or 48.5 points. That's a lot of points. I don't think Arkansas Pine Bluff being any good. They bring in this Arkansas brings in this quarterback that was at the FCS level, Taylon Green. He's coming to play for Arkansas. Not going to pretend I know a lot about these teams. Just 48.5 points this day and age against the FCS is a lot of points. So I'm going to take Pine Bluff. Plus 48.5. Game 2, we're off to the Twin Cities. The Minnesota Golden Gophers taking on. They're hosting the North Carolina Tar Heels. North Carolina on the road, who obliterated Minnesota last year, but they've ran out of NFL quarterbacks.
Yep.
They're a 2-point favorite at Minnesota, 7 o'clock on Fox.
By the way, Drake May not starting the season for New England. Jacoby Brissett is. That is a terrible decision by Gerard Mayo, the head coach.
By the way, the people pick North Carolina. Troy will go with North Carolina as well.
Give me Minnesota. I'm going to take the upset here.
Taking the upset at home. I'm going to take Minnesota just because it's a home game for the Golden Gophers. I mean, going on the road week 1,
Yeah.
you know, you never fully develop a opinion about a team after just one game. The team is going to evolve and change as the season goes. Mm-hmm. You're just getting your first glimpse. They're both going through quarterback changes. They're both going through coordinator changes. Minnesota bringing in New Hampshire quarterback Max Brosmer, who was, moving to the FBS level again as a quarterback is a pretty big jump. But Max Johnson from Texas A&M is going to North Carolina. I'm going Minnesota. Outright win at home, getting it done over North Carolina. Game 3, we head to Children's Mercy Park, Kansas City, Kansas. The Legends area is I like to call it. The Legends area.
Yep.
My dad is a big Cabela's fan.
He is.
Yeah, going to that store. I think Nebraska Furniture Mart is way overpriced. But KU's playing a football game there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're hosting Lindenwood. Former NAIA program, KU a 45.5-point favorite in Kansas City, which is basically right next to the stadium that's being built right now in Lawrence. Troy will be taking KU to cover. The people barely right now picking KU.
Yeah, if I wanted to be a real troll and if I didn't care about wins and losses, I'd pick Lindenwood. But being that I am the competitive SOB that I am, I'm going to take KU to cover.
I thought you were going to take Lindenwood for a second.
No.
There is no reason why KU should not cover. Lindenwood is a terrible team.
Yeah.
Somebody tweeted this out earlier about the metrics, like the advanced metrics, and I looked into this as well because I thought it was interesting. And I'm not going to get too deep into all the stats that are involved in this metric. But basically, Emporia State, who plays tonight against Washburn, would be a more competitive opponent than Lindenwood, and shaky hands Gunnar Gundy is the quarterback for Emporia State. KU, if they don't cover 45 points, just forget about building the rest of the stadium.
Yeah.
Leave it as ruins it is currently and give up.
The memes that would be coming from K-State Twitter if they lost this game would be glorious.
They will not lose. Boy. That might be the biggest upset in college football history, or up there. It would have to be.
Yeah.
Okay. We're in our second half of games. Let's over to Boulder. This is a big game. Everybody's paying attention to this one tonight. North Dakota State, who has won 11 national championships in the last 12 years at the FCS level, is at Colorado. Deion Sanders at Big 12 Media Day says he was upset with the AD for scheduling this game because this team is really good. The Bison are really good. They're an FCS powerhouse. 7 o'clock, ESPN, Colorado favored by 10. The people will be going with, and it's it's not a close vote anymore. It's a landslide now. Going with North Dakota State. Troy was going with the Bison as well.
I'm going with the Bison as well. I think after all the nonsense we saw from Deion and the Buffs during the offseason, they need to be humbled a little bit. I got the Bison coming into Boulder and picking up a big victory.
Not the Bison, the Bison.
Bison.
The
Okay.
Bison. Boy,
Bison.
if anybody in Bison country in Fargo is listening right now, we're getting phone calls. They'll be quick to I remember going out the night before when K-State played them on a Friday. First game, brand new press box, brand new West Stadium Center. Went out with the boys the night before, have a good time, had the day off the next day. End up at Dirty Dogs, the bar in Aggieville. Run into some Bison fans, and I learned quickly, it's not Bison, it's Bison. No.
Well, it
Bison.
It would have been better to learn that at a bar than at on the air. So I'm a little embarrassed.
Well, it was so loud in there. I was like, Bison. Like, you had to really pronounce it.
You were working here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been working here about a year at that point. So
Gotcha.
it's been a minute.
Were you on K-Rock then?
Yeah. I started on K-Rock.
Gotcha.
K-Rock was my first start, and then got my way on the show here back in 2014. So I've been on the show over 10 years. Okay. Did I make my pick yet?
No.
I want chaos. I want an extremely good game. Feels like this game is going to come down to a call or something.
Yeah.
You know? It's going to be kind of a tight one. Because who knows? We have an idea about North Dakota State. This kind of like feels backwards. We know about North Dakota State. We know about their history, how good they should be, even though they're going through a coaching change. Colorado is a wild card. How about this? Colorado, I got the final number of how many transfers they brought in. 42. 42 new transfers. They had 41 depart. They bring in 42. I mean, I think Colorado's offensive line should be better. They have pieces, of course. Shadur Sanders, Travis Hunter. They got some pieces. Let's go North Dakota State. Cross the board. We're not saving the graphic. Bison plus 10. 2 games left. This was a medium line I found. Plus, it's an opponent for next week for K-State. Tulane is hosting Southeast Louisiana. Green Wave at home, who's also going through a coaching change. John Summerall, now the head coach. Tulane favored by 27. Troy will go with Tulane. The people say Green Wave.
Green Wave for me.
Tulane. I think it's a pretty simple pick. 27-point favorite. They'll win by 30. And then the final game. I think this could be really interesting. This is the closest line I could find. San Jose State is hosting Sacramento State. Sacramento State is a top 10 team at the FCS level. San Jose State's like, I got a new head coach. Ken Niumatalolo, who was at Navy.
I guess.
He is now their head coach.
Yeah.
There for San Jose State. San Jose State favored by 3.5 points. The people like San Jose State. Troy is going Sacramento State.
I'm going to go along with Mr. Coverdale. I'm going to go Sacramento State.
I'm going to go San Jose State. They're going to establish the ground game. That was something they've been good at the last few years, and they bring in Ken Niumatalolo, who will run the football.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think that's going to be a major adjustment. He's got the personnel to do it, so I think it's going to be a blowout. No, I think you win by a touchdown, and that's it. But I'm going to go San Jose State. And that'll wrap up Mitch in Vegas Week 1, Part 1, Part 2 this time tomorrow. 6 more games to pick for Friday and Saturday. Really want to build up these standings early. And by the way, saving this for last, the updated standings after Week 0, AJ and myself 2-2. The people went 1-3. Troy 0-4.
Last year's champion not looking so good to start the year.
Let's hear from K-State offensive coordinator Conor Riley when we come back as you're listening to the game.
Your home for K-State sports.
Wildcat fans, I know I'm wearing the Heat jersey right now, but I bleed purple. Well, not really, it's red, but you kind of, figure of speech, you know what I mean? Welcome to Madness in Manhattan.
This is The Game on News Radio, KMAN.
Zeppelin. All right, we're back on the game. Mitch Fortner, AJ Shaw, News Radio KMAN. Kickoff at 6 o'clock on Saturday. K-State UT Martin from Bill Snyder Family Stadium. PowerCat game day will start at 2 in the afternoon with Zach Nemechek, Tim Everson, Mason Voth, and myself. 2 hours of pregame coverage here on KMAN and our sister station, 101.5 K-Rock. Earlier today, the K-State media got a chance to catch up with offensive coordinator Conor Riley and ask him a few questions.
In-helmet communication operation, are you comfortable with where you are with that right now?
Yeah, I am. We've utilized it in Friday night settings. We utilized it through fall camp. We utilized it a little bit this past spring. How that communication is going into week 1, is that going to be different in week 5, week 6? There's a possibility of that. And I think as we are all adapting and adjusting to the new technology of whether it's the in-helmet communication, which I know is kind of that sexy thing to talk about, but then also having the iPads and the tablets, I guess is what they're called, not iPads, the tablets on the sideline, and having that new technology and just kind of really getting into it this past weekend for the first time, because we just got those here 10, 11 days ago. How much that's going to change, and there's all these cool little tools that you can use, but what is truly functional throughout the course of a game.
It's the first time we've seen you since Camden made his announcement. I guess what was your initial reaction to that, and how has he settled into his new role for you guys?
Well, obviously my heart pours out for that kid. This has been a battle that he has had since roughly about this time a year ago. And he exhausted all of his options, guys. He really did. And what I mean by that is the surgery, which was a pretty invasive surgery that he went through. That was pretty significant, and worked his tail off to get back. And subsequently, when he came back, he started having some of those same pains. I know Mindy and her staff did a tremendous job of giving that young man the opportunity. When we had the conversation, we talked about big picture in life, and it's one of the things we talk about quite often as coaches, because kids, us as adults, sometimes we can't see further than 3 to 4 inches out in front of our face, and what his quality of life could be moving forward. When he made that decision after a consultation with a physician, he told me, he said, "Riles, I'll know if I could live with myself had I not tried." And I really appreciate him for doing that. Now, how he's settled into that new role, he's going to be up with me in the press box, and he has done a phenomenal job of adjusting to this new role. His personality, you want him around. So I'm very heartbroken for the kid, but his future has changed, and I'm excited for what that looks like for him.
Last one here, Fitz. What percentage of your playbook would you say is stuff you inherited as opposed to stuff you've put in, or maybe Coach Wells has put in?
Yeah, and I've kind of, Fitzy, I've talked about this a little bit. A lot of the things that we have within our playbook have been an evolution. for as long as I've been in this system. So there's a lot of that, but there's nuance. And whether it was, Tim Polasek going back to 2014 within this offense and how it evolved at that point, to Courtney Messingham in 2017 and how it evolved at that point, to Colin Klein and how it continually evolved over the course of the past 2.5 years, to now myself in this role and with the assistance of Coach Wells and the other coaches, there is going to be some new stuff. And what we did and what we looked at is saying, okay, what in addition can we bring into this offense that ultimately fits who we are and what our identity is? So could I give you a percentage? I guess I haven't dissected it that much, but my daughter was telling me last night she's doing a project on decimals. So as soon as and she's got to be creative with that, and I'm laying in bed with her last night, and she's asking me, and I'm like, boy, oh boy, how do you become creative with decimals? I'm going to try to find that answer out. I think we just found what the plan is for my daughter's 5th grade project.
All right, once again, that is Conor Riley, offensive coordinator for K-State. I'm sure that last comment there you're not a math guy, right?
Not really. I mean, I don't know what her project would have been on. If I had to look at it, I might have been able to help out a little bit. Decimals to percentages, I'm solid with that.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
You're going to keep a tally for us, and you'll give us a percentage on run plays and passing plays on Saturday?
Do you want me to?
Sure.
All right.
Keep a running tally, and then we'll review on Tuesday.
All right. Yeah, I'll get that done for you.
That was once again Conor Riley for K-State, offensive coordinator. He is now the full-time OC. This will be his first game at home as he will call the plays on Saturday. Let's take our last break. We'll wrap it up with some Ask Us Anything. Coming up next, The Game.
You're listening to The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Just wanted to also mention the Brandon Ayuk drama is over. He just got extended a few moments ago by the Niners. 4 years, $120 million, 76 of that guaranteed. So,
shout out to him.
Shout out to Brandon Ayuk. I guess he's not getting traded to the Steelers. All right, question today is, what is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
So this will be a gross story.
Go ahead.
In college, I was not home, but my roommate was, and some friends were there as well. We had the same friends. And I get there, I walk in the back door, and a friend of mine walks up to me with a piece of meat. He says, "Hey, you got to try this. Just made it." I was like, "What is it?" He's like, "You just got to try it." "What is it?" "Just got to try it." He wouldn't tell me what it is. So I tried it. I was like, it didn't really have taste to it, but it was really tough. I was like, I don't like this. What is it? He's like, "It's squirrel. We killed a squirrel in the backyard." I was like, I didn't freak out or anything. Like, people eat that kind of stuff. I don't. But that's got to be it. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, have you ever had deer?
No.
You ever had venison?
No. I've had eel before.
Eel?
That was the weirdest thing I've ever eaten.
Is that weird? Maybe in our culture it is, but.
Yeah. I mean, I drank something one time because a friend pranked me and I was an idiot. But I don't really want to say it on air.
That you ate?
No, I drank it.
Oh.
Do you want me to say it?
Oh, dude, don't. I'm already dreaming. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I don't really want to say it.
Don't.
I was embarrassed.
I have. I know what it is.
Yeah. I don't need to say it. If you don't know what it is.
And a friend? Is this person really a friend?
Not a friend anymore. I literally told him that I said a bunch of words. That I
bet you did.
I said, well, it was my fault for being stupid and being naive.
How old were you?
17.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's a tough one. Can't say it's gone that far with myself.
Yeah, it was.
But it's squirrel for
bad.
me.
It was bad. I loathe. I shouldn't say he's not really a friend. He was just a complete jackbutt. Let's just leave it at that.
I think you need a new friend.
I got better friends than him. So.
All right, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up on that. Boy, that took a crazy turn.
I'm sorry, I ruined the show today.
No. Let's call it a day, though. It's time. It's time to wrap it up. Well, we got a full 2 hours tomorrow. Another Mitch in Vegas. One more prediction on the college football season. And it's our final 2 hours before kickoff on Saturday at 6 o'clock against the Skyhawks. From Martin, Tennessee, we'll be visiting the Little Apple. We got to go. For AJ, I'm Mitch. 4 to 6 tomorrow. Royals at 6:30. Starting a 4-game series against the Astros. Go Cats.